What's up, guys? Is me, Devios, the Azure Dragon, or many things named throughout the years. But yeah, this feels like this is the end of my road for BDO. And I'm really gonna miss it, man. This meant a lot to me. And I really plan on talking next. I don't know how long I'll talk, but I just want to talk about just the past issues and kind of going forward. And let's also do this. So, yeah. All right. So first things first. Am I quitting the game? It's something that's pretty hard to say. I obviously have played this game for 9 years. It's been an absolutely massive, probably one of the biggest parts of my life for almost a decade. I'm only 24 years old. It's an insane thing to think about, like losing. But I can't see myself continuing to play for much longer. And yeah, playing this game this long, it's nearly impossible to say you'll never play it, but I don't see myself doing it without massive changes coming. And I don't see how those changes could happen. And every day I log into the game, it just it hurts my heart, man. I love it so much, and it's just I'm playing the character I love. I'm playing the game. I'm riding the horse I love. But the actual meat behind it, the game behind it, feels so sad nowadays. It's really bad for me to keep playing. By far my favorite game I've ever played, but it's gone bad recently, and I can't see a game better. I started playing this game 2016. Funny, at first I wasn't gonna play. I had a bunch of friends from Smite that ended up playing back when, sorry, it's so early, man. Lasses, Dare to Care, Matty Pocket, all those guys. If you played Smite, those guys were massive for the early days of Smite, and they're like, "Hey, you should come play too." I'm like, not super interested, but hey, fuck it, I'll try it out. All my friends are playing it, why not? So I joined Flex with them, which is the name of our guild. And we ran around and we had fun with it. We had a lot of fun. Lasted for a while. And obviously, as with most MMOs, as you kind of play for a while, all your friends slowly quit. It'd be how it'd be. But it actually became that this guild ended up existing for 6-8 months. Which early on in the game it felt like a long time more than what it is now looking back 9 years. But it lasted for a long time, and I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of stuff, pre-sermers, the whole anti-Veritas stuff on Orwin. It was good content for quite a while. I enjoyed it a lot, and it ended up being something that hooked me to the game. I played Warrior. I played until basically Warrior Awakening came out. I really did not enjoy Warrior Awakening. It was not for me. Took a break from the game, came back for Striker release and history as of there. I just played it pretty much nonstop. Small break for 1 year of Worlds, but that's about it. Then we moved on after Flex. Moved on to Hexus, Iconic. I was in Iconic for literally single days, but ended up being in Hexus with Paladin when they combined with LOTD. And that guild, I got a lot of good friends in that guild, man. And there's nothing but good memories there. Back in those days, it was really early Striker days. Striker was unbelievably powerful. Doing sieges with a really small, tight-knit guild, 50 people, and then eventually growing to a bigger guild, which no one of us ever thought would get there. It was a really good time. And then obviously, after that, I moved over to Snake, which Snake lasted years, and it I think 2017 to around 2021. So it was a really good portion, and there was a lot of good times in there, man. and there's obviously my biggest memories, right? And these are to me the pinnacle of like guild strength things, which was like the Snake versus Black Rose at like Star's End. There was at one point there at Star's End for like 3, 4, 5, maybe not 5, like a 3-month period where anytime you log in, there's just it was just anytime you log in, you're like, oh, got another GVG at Arsha Stars, and oh boy, here we go. And it was just you'd just be battling for hours and hours. No one gave a fuck. No one cared. You just battled over and over again. The numbers, the war score got crazy so fast. Unbelievable long time. There's also like at that time with Arsha, Sakraya, it always be all the Snake guys try to hold it down all day, and then like people would come in try to stop you. You'd hold it down. You try to fight them back, take over the spot, grind Sakraya a lot. Sakraya was also I love that fucking place, man. Then near after that, you had the Kratuga era, which was it was so funny. The whole Medea castle with Elcars, and someone else would take the castle. And then you'd be like, oh, crash the Elcars. And everyone's like, what the hell happened? And just, it was, and just nonstop fights there. There also, yeah, that was around, I remember Guardian and stuff. Oh God, that's demonic. Snake with HP was probably one of my, like, it was one of the most egregious things, but it was so funny. I loved every minute of it. Basically, back then they had an HP, they put an HP cap on Siege. Or they put it, no, not HP cap on Siege. So what they did, they added HP to Siege. So in Siege specifically only, you'd get plus 5,000 HP if your guild was maximum level. Now, you go to maximum level by losing sieges. If you lost or stalemated a siege, you lost a level. But if you won a siege, you lost a level, which means every level was worth 500 HP. So what happened is if you own castle for 6, 8, 10 weeks, you would slowly keep on losing that HP, and it wouldn't reset. So even if you own castle for 6 weeks, but then you lose it for 4 weeks, guess what? You're still down 1,000, 1,500 health on everybody else. So reasonably, it wasn't reasonable to hold castle on that for long, because you'll go down to basically half health of everybody, and trying to have a siege when your entire enemy guilds have double your HP, not so easy. So we made Snake with HP, which was basically Biko made an exact copy guild, which was Snake with HP. His character name was Biko but with HP. It was so egregious, and it was so like obvious of just like, yo, this mechanic not the stupidest thing ever. Basically made a second guild to dodge the fact of losing HP. Well, they realized it was also pretty stupid around that time, and after us doing that for a while, they're like, okay, yeah, we kind of understand this is the dumbest system. They removed it. It was really good fun. Also, in that time, there was a lot of just like mid-sized, like uncapped wars, really fun, and just it was like to me, Snake was like the peak of guild drama. The game itself, and I think 2018 to 2019, those were the absolute worst timings the game has ever had in terms of the actual physical game itself. The game itself sucked. Like, I'm not gonna lie. The game itself from 2018, 2019, that's the worst version of the game, like in terms of physical like gameplay I've ever played. That thing sucked. I hated it. But the guild drama and stuff kept it really fun and alive, despite that. Well, as it kind of went on, Snake lost. People wanted to play the game. The game got boring for a lot of people. Obviously, over time you lose people. Just this the absolute nature of every MMO. You lose people over time, and it sucks. Well, it got to a point where Snake lost their core, and then wasn't many people left. And I remember the siege where we fought Vertex, and I felt like I was a super soldier. I was playing Sage. Sage was a broken intelligent. Don't get it twisted. But I was having to grab the gate. I had to bring in the elephant. At one point, they were asking me if I could cannon. And then I was also basically like not shock calling, but like following up, giving a lot of info, helping out. And I ended up top fragging by like 30 kills. I'm like, bro, I felt like I was alone. I'm like, bro, that was the war. I'm like, yeah, dude, this guild is cooked, bro. I'm done with these guys. Yeah, most of my friends kind of left or were like on the 1 foot out the door, not wanting to play. A lot of people weren't signing up for Siege. It wasn't the same guild I played last 4 years. I'm like, all right, it's time to go. And then I joined Cho, which honestly a lot of my Snake friends had gone to at that point. It was actually what the deciding factor, because I was thinking of, do I join Black Rose or do I join Cho? That was kind of what I was down to. And I had messaged basically 2 people, which were TG Fool and Fuzzy. And it just kind of, as I kind of thought over it more with a bunch of friends going over to Cho and stuff, I'm like, I'll go Cho. They weren't really my style at the time, but I was like, fuck it, I'll join them. Well, I ended up really liking it. It was a really, really good time. When I joined Cho, it was kind of like the early to peak of not T4, what the hell? Oh no, yeah, T4 30-man wars, which were uncapped 30-man wars. Basically 3 times a week, you'd have a node war, capped 30-man, super fun. Those node wars were, to me, those are the most fun type of node wars. You can obviously like ego 1v1s at times are fun, but like in terms of just general everyday fun, those were absolute peak. It was also back then everyone said Sage was terrible, but while the entire time people saying Sage was terrible, it felt crazy good. So I was having a blast. And then kind of moved into a lot of like Navarre Step era and some weirder shit for Node Wars, and that started to be not as fun. But the actual like guild itself and playing around with people, it was really fun, and it felt good to be. I felt really rejuvenated being with everybody that was kind of more wanting to play again, having a lot of fun. So we played for that was like 2021 to 2022. Then there's kind of a really big downtick in Node Wars around 2023, where it really hurt. And Node Wars started becoming a lot less about fighting. There was a lot less guilds. I'm like, this kind of sucks. The Navarre Step era over, thank God for that. I don't even want to talk about that. I hated, basically there was a risk system with Node Wars, oh God. And it was something that may have worked early on, but there was just nowhere near. There was never going to be enough guilds to actually really flesh out that system, and ended up being basically no one locks themselves in a region. Everyone just basically waits and places Navarre Step every day, and then pretty much nobody ever caps. And yeah, you'd PvP Navarre Step every day in, day out, every day go Navarre Step, and oh God, it was awful. Anyway. After that, moved into basically twice a week, all the guilds would come together and they'd be like, hey, we're going to do a big setup 3 versus 3 in Valencia. Sometimes it wasn't Valencia, 90% of the time it was Valencia. And Valencia Node Wars, not usually great. The region kind of sucks for it, but hey, what is what it is. And for a while, there was like, okay, we're getting some fights. But then people realized, like, do I want to fight, or do I want to try to win for ego's sake? And then guilds just kept saying, like, oh, we're going to just win for ego's sake. And that's, to be honest, were a big downfall. And it didn't help with some of the changes that happened during that time, where they made bases, like, way tankier, structures way stronger. But what they didn't do is the fort itself was very squishy. Flame towers and Hwachas, ungodly tanky. The rest of the shit, like the base itself, the fort itself, very squishy. So what everyone started doing is like, oh, I'll just run into your fort when you're not there. It'll just backdoor your fort. And early on, guys, backdooring has always been a thing, obviously. There's been clips and everyone be like, oh shit, they got the backdoor, that's crazy, that was epic. It became a thing every fucking 2 days, man. Someone's like, oh, guys, look at this clip where we 100-0 a fort in 18 seconds. They couldn't respond. Wow. We really beat them that day. And it was happening day and I'm like, holy shit, what is going on? It very quickly became the only thing people did. All people do is just run around and be like, all right, there's a ball of people. okay, let's go to their fort. Go run into their fort. Just dive in, hit the base. And yeah. So that really like kind of put nail in the coffin of like NA Node Wars. And then we got this new system, the most recent system. And I don't hate it. It obviously has issues, just like the old one. The biggest issues with it aren't really solvable by players like the old system was. The old system had a ton of old problems, but the big ones were solvable by players through rules that they didn't follow and gave up on 10 minutes in. But rules nonetheless, it was possible, but no one did it. But the big thing with the system is it needs a lot of guilds. This new system, there's no 1v1s, there's no 2v2s. Those things are trash in the system. This system is about having a lot of guilds, a lot of places to go, a lot of just kind of basically deciding your fight, picking your spot, doing what's for you. And it worked out pretty well compared to the old Node Wars. The old system was very salvageable, and they didn't go to do it though. So it was better than we had before, but not better than what we had years prior. Specifically, I'm talking like the tier 430 mans. Oh, that to me was like I love tier 430 man. It was so good. That was my peak. I love that shit so much. Absolute blessing. And then, alright. So, and then, yeah, kind of similar with Cho. I mean, it was kind of like a thing where, like, as people are going to, like, a lot of people say, there was a very clear point, like, about a year ago, where it became less of, like, oh, hell yeah, let's go, let's fucking, let's own, let's do stuff. And it was kind of like, yeah, let's log in for war, boys. Okay. Hey, guys, we won again. Wow. Sick. Not a big thing, and it just kind of slow decline, not wanting to play, and it spreads in every guild. People not wanting to play as much, just how it is. Well, yeah, and then it's kind of seen Ryan Wall last little bit, and Cho kind of, yeah, they've gone their way now. They've done their announcement last night. Roots called it finally, and yeah, I mean, it's now never ever say it's a bad idea from him, man. He's put more time than was ever deserved into this game, and I mean, all of us have, to be honest. But it was a really good time, and I don't regret the time besides the last couple months. But the last couple months it just feels like I'm holding on to something that shouldn't be there anymore. Outside that, there was outside the guild stuff. There's tournaments, and people who have been on my team and fought against me in the past. You know, I loved tournaments. I've come from Smite background. I love, obviously, let's get twisted. BDO was never going to be competitive, quote unquote. Never going to be an esport. If you thought it was, you're delusional. It's not what it's about. But it was fun PvP. And it got people to sweat and really like figure out fun, cool stuff, and basically get people excited. And that was what it was about. People were excited. Ooh, let's get these crazy rewards. Ever since I saw like those Arsha skins and titles really early again, like, man, I need these. I want these. It's good. That's awesome. I want those titles. I want all those cool things that those guys have. And I'm like, I need that. Well. We did that. We did that over and over and over again. Early on with the best in class tournament, they announced that. I'm like, well, I love Striker. I'm gonna do that. I can't wait to fight. And I fought Hunter HD day in and day out for the full month, from basically when they announced it to when we started having the tournament. More than a month actually, probably like 6 weeks. Every day I'd play for like an hour, just me dueling him. Me 1v1 in Hunter HB. I'd fought some other strikers every now and again. Sometimes we did some other, but like mainly it was just I'd duel Hunter HD over and over again, hours. And I could see myself getting so much better so fast while and I knew some crazy tech in the 1v1 mirror at the time, which at this point is super outdated. But it was like there was so much like tech which is obvious. It's like, oh, you do this, you do this, and they do this, and it was just so. I felt so good, and obviously Trep. As much as I knew him, he was a really good friend. And the last day, I fought Trep again, when I was practicing, and then at the very end, right before I had the trials finals, and that morning before the trials finals, I unironically did not get CC'd for like an hour. I fought him 40 matches. I didn't get CC'd. I was absolute demon mode that morning, and I felt like I was at the top of my fucking game, and ended up getting the godlike title from winning the uncapped and the capped tournament. Both of them, like, wow. Got my Arsha skin, got a godlike title, which coming from Smite, that's a pretty true to my heart like kind of title. I love that title in terms of actual name itself. And yeah, then we had a season tournament where I played with Masilas and Vert. It's kind of a weird system where they had lots of they basically split it up where it was 3v3, but the finals was kind of like 2v2, and you basically banned a player for each round, so you had to keep rotating and just flip between them. Eventually get all the teams. And then after that, there was also like an elimination 1v1 where it's like, it's kind of like a last man standing type thing where like you fight them, that guy gets eliminated if he loses a winner, and then last person 10 wins. Well, we ended up winning that against Flannel's team. Really fun term as well. Again, seasoned characters, always been scuffed, but really fun tournament, and it was pretty soon after the best in class stuff. After that, the tournaments there were best in guild. So I've been part of 3 best in guilds. First one was with Nuke and Liquid, or the Bomb and Liquid. Second one was with Armin and Raiden. And the most recent one last year was with Matt and Raiden. So the first one with Corsair Lon, second one with Ninja Valkyrie, and third one with Shy Valkyrie. And I was also on Sage the last one instead of Striker. All those tournaments, prepping for that stuff, always a blast. I could feel though that even the second one, like when it's kind of funny. I don't know if it's in the second one. It was like it started feeling more like expectation to win. It didn't feel like it was like, oh, will he do it? Can I do it? I'm gonna try to be the best. It started feeling like I'm expected to win. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta do that. I gotta win. I'm gonna win. And when we fought Romania's team with Ingenium, Icy, and it's like, oh my god, this was Shy Valkyrie pre-nerf suck DK. It was demonic. It was the craziest thing. We fought that round. You could tell after like the middle, like after the second round, we're like, holy shit, we're down 0-2. We're gonna lose. We should lose. Like this feels like an impossible matchup. And then we end up pulling it back, bring it back 2v2, and then final round, round 5. The round starts, and at this point you could not V KDs. Raiden gets stiffened by Bongo, gets KD'd, can't V, and you could hear the heartbreak in Raiden's voice when he's like, "Guys, I think we lost," or he's like, he's like, "Man, I'm sorry, guys, I fucked up," and he felt really bad. But by a miracle and basically really good plays by Armin, followed up by a really lucky sniff by me, followed up by them probably misplaying a little bit a couple times, we somehow managed to 2v3 Striker and Ninja against Shy Valkyrie DK when like those like Striker Ninja against Shy already is like miserable, and the fact we won that was insane. You could feel in the finals after that, it didn't even feel like a finals. It felt like we'd already like retired, like, all right, we got the win. It felt like it was in the bag. It felt like whew, all pressure's off. And it was such a good time. The one with Nuke and Liquid, I'll go back to that real quick, just I kind of skipped it. It was really fun. First best in guild. Oh god. But they're both very muted. Both of them didn't really talk. I actually really funny. I got them both to speak, and it was funny. They like people that were in show that they never even knew what they sounded like, and yeah, I was having them. They didn't call a lot, but they'd call V's and they'd call like if they could get a sniff and stuff. And it was fun. It was really good getting them into it, and it was really fun getting practice for that tournament too, and like teaching them stuff. It was really fun getting it all together. And then we had the most recent tournament with Raiden and Matt. This was probably the most disgusting comp I've ever ran in a tournament. It felt like no one had a chance. We were Sage at Sage's peak, Valkyrie, Shy. All three of these classes at their peak. It felt impossible. Like, we had one bad round, and I have Discord DMs where I basically said, all right, we're against this Digicomp. They have a lot of damage. Wusa, Zerker, Wizard, they got a lot of fucking damage. We need to test them out. We're probably going to lose the first round just till we fill out damage. Once we get a feel for things, we should be good. Goes pretty much exactly how I thought. First round, Raiden takes a little more damage than he thinks. He ends up dying. I limit test a lot that round. I'm like, wow, I'm way tankier than I thought I'd be. I thought I would have been dying faster, but I was actually just way tankier than I thought. So for the rest of the match, I just started playing, all right, Raiden's a little squishier than I think. I'm tankier than I think. I'm just going to play super aggro. And for the rest of that shit, I played super aggro. We ended up winning the rest very easily. It was just like the other years. It felt... The finals themselves were not the hard part. The matches before... I mean, honestly, that year, none of the matches were that hard. But it was Sage, Shy, Valk. I'm not taking it as like some way to brag. It's just Sage, Shy, Valkyrie at that time were absolutely disgusting. It felt unbeatable. It was great. Anyway, all these tournaments end up being some kind of like... they were just a lot of fun. I enjoyed them a lot. I miss a lot of good times over the years, man. And... I also got to go to the Calpheon Ball a couple years back. And I have one night I remember more than any of them, even more than the event itself, it was actually the first time I actually got like drunk. I'd have drinks and stuff, but I never really got like actually drunk. It was really funny. Went to this like Irish pub with Norelio and all the squads, Frosty, Blue Squadron. Too many people to name at the time, man. There's so many people. Got to meet the family guys the first time there. Goticus, Hoyd, all of them. Stratified. Again, I can't name it. There's a whole picture. There's so many people there that night. And I just remember me and Norelio were just sitting at the bar, and people just keep coming up, but one by one, getting me and Norelio drinks, and we're getting lost, we're having fun. And Blue Squadron just being absolutely just hilarious. Just he was just laughing, and he was just I can't. There's one part of it I'm missing there, but I can't remember part of it. But it was just I just remember just being just laughing, talking to Blue Squadron for like a whole hour at one point. And then he thought I was Choice. Blue Squadron got drunk and he thought I was Choice. That's what it was. There we go. That's what I remember. And he was just like, I'm not Choice, man. And it was funny. I remember near the end of the night, I got super zoned in talking to Stratified. Like I was super just tunnel vision, and I remember getting super in depth with Stratified and Hoyd, just talking about class balance, node wars, shit like that, and just being super zoned in for like an hour and stuff. And then eventually leaving the bar with Fake Uni, So Frosty, Mermaid on Tap, and some other people, and just calling it for the night. It was a night I'll definitely hold in my heart for a long time. And it was just really fun. I loved it. I remember just sitting there I probably said it like 100 times in 30 minutes. I'm like, wow, I'm not feeling like I'm losing it, but I'm feeling tipsy. And I was definitely feeling real tipsy that night. But yeah, it was a night I really hold dear at Calpheon Ball, and I'll remember that night specifically for a long time. But yeah, let's kind of move in less nostalgia now and kind of talk about what's happened recently, what's kind of brought me to make this video. So recently there's been some big thing, and this is like the kind of overarching thing for this part is the destruction of progression system. So ever since, in my opinion, around the breaking point of destruction of gear was around Debaraka earrings. Now, believe it or not, it's funny. It's something people said years and years ago was when distortion earrings got added to the game that they were the best item ever added. And I still, to this day, will say distortion earrings were the biggest, like, the most like important aspect of gear ever in the game. They've all, even now, new players get them 6 years later. It is so important. Tet distortion earrings were just, they were just way too powerful at the time. Probably should have got nerfed, never did, but they were an absolutely super huge part of gearing. Well, with Deborek earrings, they realized very easy. These earrings suck. Deborek, for example, are supposed to be hex tongue grad accessories, right? They're supposed to be tongue grad accessory 1 extra level. Well, it turns out even a hex tongue grad accessory was going to be trash compared to a Tet distortion or a pen, or not Tet distortion, a pen distortion. So like, all right, we had to make a gear set. What that gear set does, it was insanely strong, 12 AP, and made it so you had to have 3 set. It's like, okay, well now, no matter what I'm doing, I'm always gonna have 3 Debrekas. No matter what's going on, I'm running 3 Debrekas always. Just how it is. And then Deboreka rings get added. And just like the rings, because of the earrings, you have to add another set bonus, or else everyone gets rid of your earrings. So they add a 5 set as well. Well, guess what? The 5 set's also very strong. So what happens is you have to get the rings as well. And that really quickly gearing became obscenely expensive really quick. Because all of a sudden before, right, it's like, before this point, right, everyone's like, oh, maybe if you're really geared, you'd have a Debo. You'd have a Debo neck. But most people didn't. Most people didn't even have a Debo. It was like, wow, you had a Debo, you're geared as hell. That's how it was. But after this point, people are like, oh, you need multiple Debos. You can't just run around with all 10 accessories. Like, it's like, damn, I need to get 3 pen Debos. Oh shit, the rings are out. I should probably push to get 5 pen Debos eventually. And it's just like, holy fuck. Well, during that time, they also add the hammers. And what this did is it made Debos very achievable. Well, it's like, okay, well, kind of fixes itself. It's like, I need a bunch of Debos. Well, Debos got a lot easier. Problem with this, it breaks the entire marketplace. All the bright new accuracy accessories, these things are worth 200 bill. They're now worth nothing. Dawn earrings, these were worth 200 bill. They actually start going up again, but they are worth nothing compared to what they were. Everything, and I mean every single accessory. I could go through every single one, no matter what it was. It is dead. It is done. It is over. It's worth nothing. And that's just how it is now. Everything in the market is now worth nothing. Doesn't really feel like there's anything to push for. And I don't like, it's like the gear system's fucked. It's like you start the game, you're like, all right, this is how the gear person is. You start the game, you get your pen black star for free, a Tet black star for free. You get your pen Tuvala, and it's like, okay, that's a nice baseline. You go up a bunch. Now I'm going for Tet distortions, my pen Jatinas. You're like, okay, that's another step up. I got my Vel's heart. All right, that's a step up. And then you're like, all right, where do I go from here? Oh, fuck. I need fucking Tet Debos. Well, not yet. I need Fallen Gods, duo Fallen God armors. I need Tet Debos. You're like, oh, fuck, man. That's a big upgrade from fucking these 10 bill upgrades. I'm like, oh, fuck, 60 bill, 50 bill. 5x the upgrade. And then you're like, all right, well, what's next? I got my duo Fallen Gods. I got my Tet Distos. I got my not Tri-Debos. I got my Tet Debos. All right, well, what's up for here from there? Well, up through there, that's Pen Debos and Tet Fallen Gods. You're like, oh, well, fuck off. That's a lot. Well, it's like, oh, it's okay, because I'll have a lot to do, right? It's like, oh, I guess, yeah, it's a natural progression. I'll get my gear. So at least it's like, okay, well, at least it's like, it's going to be worth it, right? It's like, oh, well, no, because you don't need Pen Debo for almost anything right now. Everything you do PvP-wise is capped. PvE-wise, you can get the cap without getting even... You don't need Pen Debos. If you do, in the future, it's going to be for like 1, maybe 2 grind spots. What's at those grind spots? How are they going to make these new grind spots in the future? Because everything else in the market's dead. The only thing to do is give you more Debos. Well, guess what happens? Debos are going to start being listed. Orders for Debos are going down day to day. What happens when Debos start lowering down? the only thing that's worth anything is just the raw silver. And I don't know how they can fix this without just making multiple new sets of gear. But I also don't know how you get anyone to care about these multiple new sets of gear when the PvE seems so capped and the PvP as well. So you don't even have like the veteran PvPers pushing for these like rare PvP only kind of like off items, like things like Tayback belt and stuff. You were never going to grind with a Tayback belt. This item was never going to be used in PvP or PvE. Like it was only for PvE. And yeah, it's like you see nowadays, look, these debos I worked, guys, I got these 6 debos. I worked years and years for these things. And guess what? Now if I want a PvP, I throw in these free Tungred earrings and these tried Tungred necks just because, I mean, everything else is capped. I may as well just get some BSR, I guess. Why not? The progression system, it's just, in my opinion, it's completely shambled. It's completely in shambles, and I don't know what they could do to fix it. I think you get up to 710, 720 gear score, and you're like, well, I can do everything. There is no reason to push anything past that other than I want to. That's never been the case before. Before it was always, oh, I get an upgrade. I can't wait to test out my upgrade. I can't wait to see how it feels in grinding. I can't wait to see how it feels in PvP. Every time you got an upgrade, you felt it. You felt like, damn. People back in the day, like when dandies were hard to get. Pen dandy was hard to get. It's like someone had a pen dandy. You couldn't even get them for a specific class. You'd win one for a random class. And guess what? You won a random class you've never played. Pen dandy. Guess what? That is now your class. You're maining that class because that upgrade made you feel like a god. You were so strong when you had it. If you had a pen dandy and other people didn't, you felt like an absolute demon. You got a pen weapon. It was insane. You got a pen, even a 10 accessory back then. Oh my god. I got that new bracket. Oh, I'm so powerful now. Now it's like, oh, I could get 3 debos and then what? Yeah, my 30 minutes and more of the roses every 2 weeks. I am slightly stronger. If I'm not just on the side that gets completely stomped every time. That's about it. Maybe G League against, I don't know what guilds are left, but yeah. All right. Second to me, and this is like a true to my heart, a system that really hurts and what's really breaking the game for me personally is the constant diminishing of the PvP systems. And nothing more I could say easier than compare it to Wizard 101. So for Solaire, if you get in the top 100, you get this shiny new outfit called the Solaire Knight outfit. And at a baseline, I don't hate it. I don't know where the hat is. But this is the armor. I like the armor. I like this outfit. In fact, I use this outfit on my Sage. And it's like, oh, hell yeah. I got this outfit. I worked for it, right? And that's fine. Like, it's cool. Like, hey, I get an outfit that you can only get from PvP, and that's awesome. Well, it was awesome 3 seasons ago. But they made it, you get the outfit for season 2, season 3, season 4. You know what that does? Means over time, more and more and more people are going to get this outfit. Which means it doesn't matter what season you got it. I could get it season 1. I could get it season 25. You don't know. And it really kind of like, it's like, oh. And I outfit when I got this, it's like, I want it to be like, oh, I got it in season 1. Holy crap, that guy got the season 1 outfit. This guy was playing season 1. That's awesome. This guy's playing season 2. That's awesome. And even if it isn't that, another thing they could do, when you also play, you get this Solaire Knight title. Now, Solaire Knight tells this. I actually have an extra one over here. Right here. It's a box, gives you the title. You get the title until the next season. I also have an opened one right here from the first season. Thing is, the next season, as soon as it goes around, you lose this title. There's also no distinction of this title between any seasons. So, I don't know if I got this title season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, season 25, whatever it is again. It just becomes meaningless over time. And I'll compare this to Wizard 101 because I logged into this game, a game I played when I was really young. I logged into it 3-4 years ago at this point. And when I logged in, I still had my outfit that they turned my season 1 like gear that I was using into an outfit. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. They turned my title, where before it was just PvP Warlord, it turned into First Age PvP Warlord. They reset it, and they did something, but that's awesome because forever I have the title that I was playing the First Age of Wizard 101 PvP, and forever above my head they're like, wow, that guy has the outfit and the title from Wizard 101. Yes, Wizard 101 has better PvP rewards from like 2008, 2012 than BDO does now. And this could go further over time. A lot of things they've done like this. But another thing they're pushing towards, and they've been doing it recently, and it's something I don't hit them for it, but it's just like it kind of takes away from me, obviously, is the recent couple tournaments. Cool ideas, but it's not the recent tournaments, they're not about who the best player is that wins. And it's not about who plays the best on the day. It's none of that. It's just you kind of just sign up and you're like, I hope that I luck out to get to like the final match, and the final match I win. And it's just this first day of the Arsha Rumble, just basically everyone went DP. Whoever had the highest HP won. Who would have thought that the class that heals up to 50% health, which is the cap HP at the end of the match, wins? They won it. That's fine. Random Drac got it. Never heard of them in my life, but they got it. Recent tournaments coming out, PvP 100. Seems like they're doing a similar dive, maybe a little bit more interesting. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not going to like talk shit about it, but it does seem it's about one person winning. It's about one person kind of being able to manage their way through a bunch of shit and not about actually just like beating their opponents. And not really for me. The Throne of Solaire thing looks really cool. Again, 30, but the thing is the rewards suck. It's a 30-day greatest title, which the greatest title is a big achievement, but like they could give pearls, man. Pearls are nothing to them. Giving out 10k pearls once a month, I'm sure wouldn't break the bank. But yeah. And yeah. Again, titles from other tournaments like these, I was really looking forward and wanting to get all 5 of these titles. This is one thing that was keeping me for a while, is they added these 5 titles, and each time you won one, this is the first year, second year, third year, this would be 4th and 5th. But I can't see myself doing it, man. I don't want to play the game anymore. I'm so over it. And hey, man, in 3 years, maybe someone catches up and gets this one, you know? Maybe. If the game's still going at that point. If not, hey, I got 3 years until someone gets this. Only me and my Cho brothers got it. And yeah. It's fun. All right. Third, class changes. Class changes. The number one thing Pearl Abyss has been doing so poorly for so long, and I kept on hoping, kept trying to push them to improve it, but it just never got better, is that how Pearl Abyss does class changes is they really end up doing them for both PvE and PvP, as they're not class changes to make things feel better, not to fix issues the game has, except for extreme, absolutely disgusting outliers that would happen, like Succession Megu, Succession Wizard after who knows how long I'm asking, Succession Sage, some absolutely insane outliers, early Succession classes like Ninja, things like that, right? Insane outliers, yes, they'll fix, but classes that are just by far the best, but not absurd outliers, they just get allowed to live forever, because what Pearl Abyss does is they allow them to be content patches. So instead of being like, oh, we'll make this class as OP, like, no, we'll buff everybody in the game once a year, once every 2 years, for either PvE or PvP. And if your class sucks after that, if you don't like your class after that, well, fuck you. Your class is going to suck for the next year. And whether it be PvE or PvP, whatever one that hits, unlucky. That's just how it is. And that it was such a destructive way to play. And the real breaking point of that has been in December, or more like November. They had a real big dev talk. They announced, all right, guys, we're really looking to class changes. We want to get some changes for all these outliers. And then we want to do some big new node-word rework and all this stuff, which we talked earlier about the node-word rework. And yeah, so like what happened? Guess what? December rolls around, 1 month after, they release this crazy patch. They've went through in every class in the game, pretty much they added like one or two super armor CCs, added other protections, bunch of other like things people were asking for their class. They added it all in one patch. Well, this patch was going to be, the power creep of this patch would have been absurd, right? But it would have been fun in the short term just because, sorry, it was something different. Well, big uproar after that. They scrap it. And they're like, oh shit, well, honestly, one of the first times they fully scrapped something like that so fast. And I was kind of impressed. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess they'll go back and try something else. I'm like, all right, cool. A couple weeks goes by. I'm like, huh. Wonder when they're gonna change it. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Oh, we got a new message. We got a big global lab update. No, what does it say? Well, guys, we don't really know what we want to do, but we want to listen to your feedback. 3 months after scrapping the idea, and obviously they couldn't figure out what to do. Option 1, give every class in the game a grab. But guys, be careful. They're really fast classes. You can't give a grab. Like Musa and Mewa, they're just too fast. You couldn't give them a grab. Not to mention there was like 6 classes with a grab. They're faster than them. We don't worry about that. Second option, remove a bunch of super armors, add more frontal guards, and kind of bring things back a little bit. It's like, okay, sounds good in theory. But you could see that going really wrong really fast. If all of a sudden they're like, oh, yeah, and we made one of the archer skills frontal guard, but they're 50 feet away when they cast it. Versus, oh, the striker or the fucking, yeah, the suck striker, it has to be touching his opponent to hit you, is now frontal guard on more skills that he already is frontal guard, a bunch of stuff. Like that's not an even trade. And that trusting them to do this well was just never going to happen. And honestly, I can't remember the third option off the top of my head. But whatever, it was some other shit. Oh, it was going to be like, oh yeah, I remember. It was going to be like a flame tower skill. Basically, they're going to add a skill where the classes that don't have grabs are going to get like another skill that bypasses CC, or bypasses super armor, and that would have been terrible too. Basically, 3 options. None of them were good. And I was like, okay, well, at least they'll make some changes soon. It's like, okay, they'll be listening to our feedback, whatever, they'll do some changes. 1 month goes by, 2 months, 3 months. And we get another post, and we're like, oh shit, okay, well, it's been 6 months, here it comes, this is the big patch. Alright guys, we've determined we cannot keep the game in its current state. Obviously. Of course, we've been asking this for 6 months. But also, there's a big performance issue, which, with the last 2 classes, Wusa and Megu, they had this new thing that there wasn't really there for a long time in the game, besides Ranger, which was hit stun. Now this thing basically became, it was the best way to counter a super armor, because what it would do, it would just, this combined with Shy, you'd speed up all your skills so fast to a point where you just cast your entire kit in 1 millisecond, be standing there unprotected for half the time, and just basically you cast your entire kit instantly and then stand there and die. The characters never meant to attack this fast. It didn't make sense. It also broke a lot of characters where like your movement skills wouldn't move you, a bunch of other stuff. So they went through, they reduced a bunch of hits. This caused them to do another rework. Basically, what happened here is after 6 months of no changes, they came in and like, all right, guys, we won't be able to actually make changes. We need to overhaul everything. So we're going to overhaul evasion and DR. We're going to overhaul the hits for all classes. This is going to break a bunch of classes, and we're going to fix them, surely. They didn't. Shards and stuff and classes like hit stuff is still broken to this day. And I don't see them ever really getting fixed fully. Bunch of animation counts and stuff got ruined for a lot of classes. Bunch of weird stuff. Anyway, that's besides the point. Doesn't really matter. Evasion changes go through. So like, we can't have evasion because blah, blah, blah. Now they had to remove special evasion. This goes down. Well, about 8 months in, we get some class changes. After 8 months, the class change, surely there'll be so many. No, there's about 5 classes. A couple months after that, there's another 5 classes. It's like, bro, we're 10 months in, man. 9.5, 10 months in. Like, there ain't no time for this. Like, if you're gonna, like, it's like they were basically promising another content patch. Because, like, they do with these class balancing, and it just never came. Maybe it will in the future. Who knows? They did a big PV balance patch. Cool. That brought a lot of classes to be closer in PV. But then, obviously, you'll have new outliers. And new classes that suck. And then kind of didn't really address those again. So it kind of just upped the power level of everyone. Got it closer. But again, there's new outliers. That's what you got to do, man. You can't, like, the whole thing is, like, every time you do big class change, there's always going to be a new top class. And that's fine. People don't care if a class is top for a while. They care when a class is top for way too long and it's way too egregious. The easy example, longest one that'll always stand out in legacy players' mind, veteran players' mind, Succession Wizard. And this goes into another thing, which I'll talk. People don't care if a class was broken for a month. They don't care if a class was broken a month and a half. What people care about is when it lasts too long. Because when it lasts too long, people start giving up. They're like, oh. Back in the day, you're like, oh, a class is broken? Well, good, have fun on that. When that shit gets nerfed, I'll be coming for you in a couple months. But nowadays, people are like, oh, will it get changed? Or will that just be the new normal? Who knows? And maybe it'll last 6 months, 8 months, a year. Suck Wizard, a year and a half before it gets changed. And one thing people never really talk about, this class came out during Succession Wizard. Succession Sage. Succession Sage came out. He had iframe on every rift chain. And not only that, but he had a bug where every single rift chain, even on cooldown, gave him super armor. But guess what? They fixed both the bug and they nerfed him hard within the month. So what happened is that class, guess what it did? It was destroying Suck Wizard at its prime. This is at the time when Suck Wizard hadn't been nerfed yet. And even during that time, Succession Sage came in and was stomping it. But you know why everyone remembers Succession Wizard? Because it lasted way too fucking long, man. You cannot leave a class that long. What needs to happen is constant, small, 2-3 classes. Doesn't have to be every week, every couple weeks. Just 2-3 classes at the top, 2-3 classes at the bottom. Make small changes to them. It doesn't have to gut them. It doesn't have to remove them from the game. But just something to be like, oh, my class sucks. I'm sad. And it's like, oh, that's something to at least think about, have fun with. And guess what? You do it a couple, and then at least it's something like, oh, if my class is still absolute trash, well, in a couple weeks, I'll get something else. In a couple weeks, this class that's just destroying the battlefield, it's not going to be it's going to get some small changes. They might always hit the absolute top ones every week, but they'll get to it. And as other ones near it go down, it'll be more obvious and more likely to get changes, right? That's what needs to happen. It's always need to happen. It's a big, big thing. And I don't see that happening. All right. And this is one thing is why I'm here on the map. The Land of Morning Light, to me, it has to be a cruel social experiment made by Prolibus. The area, as you've seen this entire video, is beautiful. The area is awesome. It's an amazing place. It is such a beautiful place that probably 90% of people have never seen. If they've seen, they did it for... Actually, no, they have seen it. They did it for the 8 hours of their quest line where they basically just go... the R key over and over again. 8 hours. They spam that shit. And then they leave and they never come back. Because there's no reason to come back. Except for bosses. But guess what? You don't have to come here for the boss anymore. Now there's a UI for it. But even back when the bosses... People didn't even do that shit. Because it's like... The bosses don't really matter. But it was like a fun thing to do. This region is, in my opinion, the biggest fuck up they've ever had. This area is beautiful, and there's no reason to be there. And it's sad to see, because this place has so much potential, and you need to have stuff there. It doesn't have to be just grind spots, but grind spots are a thing that Prolibus has always done to get people to go places. And I'll put this in contrast to another region they've added, Ulakita. Ulakita, by contrast, is an amazing... awesome zone. However, this place is not beautiful. This place looks very similar to Valencia. It's kind of like a cross between Valencia and Medea. And it's not bad looking, but compared to Land of Morning Light, it doesn't hold a candle. It's nothing. But the thing is, this grind spot, it had a bunch of new stuff when it came out. It had a treasure item, the telescope, really cool item. They also had this new mechanic with the Essence of Devourers, which was a new way to get fail stacks without having to fail stack, which everyone knows for a long time. Fail stacking was an awful thing in this game. So it's a bunch of new things to do. And then later on, they add Darkseeker's Retreat. They add the Highlands. And what this does is adds more stuff to do. They add these Kabwas, which are the artifact that just made you way tankier PvE, which was really, really nice. It's just another thing to go for. And the Flame, which obviously for the Fallen God boots or the Ator's shoes. So again, it's something to keep people grinding there. It's good grind spots, but also it's not only has the short term of being like, oh, I'm going there for the thing, and also it taking longer to get that thing than just a quest line you're spamming R through, but also it has the thing of people keeping people there to grind, which as much as it's not content to grind, it is something to do in the game. And when there is a reason to do it, like there has been in the past, I like having stuff like that. I like being in cool areas. So it's like we have the Flame, we have the telescope, we have money, we have the failstack system. It was good. It was good. All accounts, it was a good place. This telescope, by the way, people that didn't follow me for a while, I spent 500 hours on this thing. 500 hours knowing I would only use it once a week at most. And it was just, I knew it wasn't going to do anything, but I wanted it, and it was a treasure item for me to go for, and I liked it. It was fun to go for. It ended up being a fun little meme in my stream with the whole City of the Dead thing, and it was great. I got it, and it felt awesome to get it, just get out of there. And again, there's memories attached to Ulakita. My only memory of this place is the first week it came out, and like doing the first C7 bosses. And yeah, it's fun. But I thought, like, okay, well, at least they'll learn by this. Land and More Light 2 coming out soon. They'll learn. They're not going to do that again. Boy, was I wrong. Land and More Light 2, they basically announced it's going to be the same thing, except with solo bosses, it's going to be group bosses, 5-man group bosses. And that sounds cool. They sounded like we're going to do 5-man group bosses. And I'm sure they still will at some point. But I'm so worried. Whenever they do a release like this, people don't know. It released on Korea recently, and it's missing. Land and More Light 2 released. It's missing most of its content. It doesn't have the node system they promised, which is going to be a really cool new node production system. It doesn't have the group bosses. All it has is some flubby ass weekly bosses, which also uses only 2 bosses and 2 of the old bosses to basically do a boss that dies in about 15-20 seconds. And then you leave and never come back again. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, the new region is basically just sovereign weapons, buy Cron stones, and it's really sad. Land and More Light, both regions, like it's just, I don't understand how you could put all this time to make such a beautiful ass area. It's so unique, so much time, effort. Just make cool bosses, all this stuff, all this lore and have all this lore attached to it, just to do absolutely nothing with it. There's no reason to be here. Trust me, I'm right now. Like these are places I've seen these places once. This is again the first week of it coming out because there's no reason for me to be here ever. There's no one's gonna remember. Oh, I remember my time I fought down here at the Grove, like down here. Like no one's gonna do that. No one did that. No one did that. No one ever did that. It was never a thing. It's never going to be a thing because there's no reason to be here. And it makes me really sad to see. All right. Another thing I've been really hurting for a long time. This kind of ties into kind of tournaments, but not really. Just ways to express your character. One thing this game has never done well, and it ties into like that first stage PvP world stuff I talked about earlier, is there's really, like, for a game that's this beautiful, abilities look this fucking cool, the combat that works this well, there really is just like I finally found like an outfit that speaks to me. I love it. But like, man, anyone could have this outfit. Anyone could have it easily. I can't really differentiate myself too much. And it's just kind of like, oh, Like they could do so many things. They could have a WoW inspect. People could see, so people could see like your character. You can make little fun character pages like Final Fantasy. Like you could have just like really just cool glow effects that like are really hard to get. Obviously they do have those, but guess how many players have those? It's like single digit. The only time they give those out is they give them out for very temporary, or they have permanent ones. That it's permanent ones that are just, but they're for one person. They're literally for, they are for these tournaments. Like you can see right here, I have Arsha's proof. This is a nice blue glow. Guess how many people have this? Like 6 people, 8 people. You know the one that has glow? This one has orange glow. How many people have this? 3 people. How many have this? Okay, this one, to be fair, they gave it to the whole guild, so 100 people have this one, 150 people have this one. This one, to be fair, does. Also the greatest titles. Yeah, people eat. There's like 1 or 2 people have each of these. This has a nice glow effect to it as well. The red lightning and stuff. But again, there's so few people that have these, and they're so rare that it's just like most people will never get it. Most people give up. Obviously, it's cool to have like things that almost no one gets, but like having just be that rare, no glow, like weapon glow, like Lost Ark weapon glows. Oh my god! I remember getting I got my weapon to +20 on Lost Ark, and I knew it didn't even matter to have +20. I only needed like +17. I was support. Who cares? My weapon didn't really matter at the time. But guess what? I wanted it just because I got this white glow that filled the whole sword. I loved it. It looked awesome. And when I got it, I felt really good. They're finally adding some kind of glow with sovereign weapons, but it's a 1 yellow glow. They were going to have like some black star glow. You could have changed it, but like I've always said, like how cool it would be, for example, imagine, and they've done this before, there's a Shy outfit that changes all the Shy's abilities to yellow. Imagine my striker, except I could match it to be my blue, right? Or something like that. Like, obviously, it's more of like a MOBA type thing to have skins like that, but like they've already done with Shy, and they could do it more. But imagine like when striker does the leg drop or my ult, instead of having like the red fire, I could have, I just all of a sudden be a fucking big blue explosion like that. Wouldn't that'd be awesome? Just fucking bam, big blue explosion. That'd be awesome. And again, it's the whole point. It's not even just stuff like that. It's just an example. They could do so many things. And I just feel like the cosmetics and the outfits in this game are so low tier for how beautiful the game is. Like they're getting, there's some better ones. Like I'll say the new summer outfit. Hey, it got me, man. I think this new summer outfit, it dyes really well. It's really cool. Where do I have it? Here it is. It's a really cool outfit. I like it, but it's just like, again, it's not really like there's not much to really differentiate yourself. And I want like for things that you want to do in MMO. There's 2 things in MMO. There's 2 things you want to do, right? It's been my story forever. It's like, all right, first thing in MMO, you feel in your heart, I want to be powerful. I want to get strong. I want to get stronger. I want to be so fucking powerful. After you get there, though, what do you want? Once you are powerful, there's one thing you want, and all you want is you want everyone to know you're powerful. You're like, I want to sit in town, and people walk by, like, oh, fuck, look at that guy. That guy's a beast. Who is that guy? Oh, I recognize that game, and look at him. He looks crazy. That's what people want. First thing, you want to be powerful, then you want to look powerful. You want everyone to know you're powerful. That's what people want in MMO. And in BDO, it's really hard to get to that point without being literal top 10, top 5 players in like very specific formats that happen once a year. Top 1. Like it's like, it's really, it sucks, man. And like one of the only rare tiles they give away, it's for chat rooms. And I can't believe they even reset it as much as they do. They do these chat rooms where once every 30 days they reset it, and whoever gets the most likes in these chat rooms that nobody ever types in, whoever gets the most likes in there gets titles for a month. And it's like, really? That's the rare title you're giving people? Anyway. Alright, this is another thing, kind of the death of open world PvP. Kind of, it has to do with the crystal presets and that. So, over time, back in the day, when you'd grind, when you'd PvP, what do you go in Arsha? And you're like, all right, I'm on Arsha. I'll put on my Kudum. And that's about it. In PvP back then, the only thing you'd swap a Nuva for a Kudum. Unless you're evasion, then you wouldn't swap anything. And your add-ons would be basically for both. Your PvP add-ons back in the day were just PvE add-ons. PvE add-ons were just PvP add-ons with one add-on that had monster damage. That's it. Everything else there was no crystal builds for PvE, none of that. But with crystal presets, that changed obviously. Now you had to get a crystal set because there's a lot of damage you're missing. Well, it didn't really matter for most of the grind spots back in the day. Those grind spots were killed so easily. You didn't really need a PV set. But all the new grind spots, you need every last little ounce of AP you can get. Everywhere you can get it, every last little bit is so much damage in these spots. You need it. So it became a point you have to be PvE build. If you're grinding, you're PvE set. Well, that means, especially on Arsha, is that if someone comes up to you, you cannot fight them 99% of the time. If someone comes up to fight you, even if it's like someone who's way under geared, there is no way you're ever fighting them because you're just missing so much stats. Like for example, for an evasion player, I'll go from like 1200 of 1300 evasion, 650 DR down to like 450 DR and 1000 evasion, 900 evasion. I ain't evading anything. I have no DR. I'm getting one hit. One hit kills me from anybody in the game. Even if you're DR, it's like you're down to like an 850 evasion. That doesn't matter. But you're down to like fucking 520 DR, 540 DR. And it's like, yeah, most people in the game, they're going to one-shot you with that. Especially if they're trying to PP on Arsha. Also, elixirs became more prevalent, so you have to change your gear set. You have to change a million things. If I want a PvP someone comes up to me, I got to change my crystals, my add-ons. And by the way, add-ons can only be in a safe zone or battle arena. So I gotta go leave the area to come back and do that. I have to change my artifacts. I probably have to change my buffs. And most likely when I change my buffs, it's changing my buffs from PvE to PvP, which means not only am I losing my PvE buffs, so if I want to go PvE again, I'll have to go pop them again later. But I have to spend just for the PvP. As well as, yeah, so it's a massive, massive difference, and you can't fight reasonably anymore. So what it led to is people will just, I'm just gonna grief you, and by griefing you just be like, I'll just run up to you on your grind spot, I'll gank you, and I'll kill you in one hit, and then you're like, okay, well naturally, this guy wants to fight. All right, I'll go swap to my PvP set. So I spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I swap set over. All right, I'm ready for PvP. I come back. They leave. Or they just immediately leave. They kill you once and they just immediately leave. And you're like, all right. They don't want to fight you. It's very clear. There's a reason why no one grinds Arsha anymore. It's the same 6-10 people. And it's because there is nothing to do there. It's just people, it's either pure PvE players that just want to try to sneak on and get some drop rate. Or it's someone who is just looking to gank people that are PvEing. That's about all you got. And as such, it kind of killed it. I do think crystal presets were needed, and it was good. But it was just the things that happened after that mean they needed universal presets. You need to be able to have a preset for PvE and PvP at the swap of a button. I don't need safe zone. I need to be able to press a button and be like, boom, I'm in PvP set. Or like Choice has been saying, like a kind of a split thing where like if in PvP I'm this build and PvE I'm this build. There's some issues with that build too, but I'm not going to get into those. But there's something there too that could happen. But this has been needed for 2 years, and last year they announced it, and then pure radio silence since then. So I don't know what's going up there. But yeah, that's a lot, man. I'm missing a lot. I'm missing the game a lot, man. It's just, this game has been a part of my life for 9 years, and it's been really hurt. Last couple months, there's been many guilds dying. Practically, the EU guys, I've been messaged by a bunch of EU guilds. It's awful over there, man. EU, all the top guilds are pretty much done. The only one left really is Conquer, and they're just waiting to collect. They're collecting a bag and just waiting for the next game. And it really hurts, man. Played the game this long, 9 years. I'm 24 years old, man. Like more than a third of my life is playing this game. And to think of it as like, this might be the end. There's so many memories that it's going to be really hard to let go of, but it's just... I can't do it, man. I know after this, I'm going to feel lost. I'm going to try to find a game. I don't know what it's going to mean for my stream. I've been having a really hard time. I can't play this game anymore. It's meant so much to me for so long. I just... Every time I log in, it's like... I'm running around. I'm on the same Pegasus. I'm playing the same character. But everything I do, it's not the same. And I'm at the first time in the history of the game where I don't have an answer. I don't know what could fix it. One thing, it would have to be a whole like overhaul. Like there would have to be some massive changes. There was always, for every year in this game, it was always easy to be like, hey, if PA just fixed this one little issue, this one little change could fix everything. This could be the greatest game ever. Just this one little change happened. But it doesn't feel like that anymore for me. For me, it feels like to fix it would be so much and require them to go so out of their way in a way they've never done before. I can't see it. I hope it does, but I don't see it happening. And I can't sit doing this anymore, man. It's also, yeah, I'm missing all the Cho guys. And I know Roots messaged me a couple months back before, and he's like, I've been done for a while. Obviously, I know he was kind of like on the downturn, but like I didn't know how bad. But he's like, yeah, I mean, I've been on the downturn even more recently, and he's like, I don't see myself playing this game for long. And the Heidel ball recently really kind of was like a big nail in the coffin for a lot of people. The Heidel ball really didn't announce much. It's kind of like we kind of said, all we kind of got out of it is like Dosa, summer outfit, a season of Solaire that ended up being cut in half, and sovereign weapons to grind for at some point in the year, maybe. But that was kind of a real nail that kind of pushed it further. Also, some recent class Discord's been going, and that it's kind of a first. Like there's always times where the class Discord's getting big drama and things would happen, but I've never seen multiple class Discords just die. Just today, the Sage Discord that got revived twice, it just is fully dead now. Maybe some will make it in the future. I know some other class Discords. I don't really know which classes. They've kind of called it quits recently. And it's just... watching a game you played this long just kind of fade away like this, it hurts. It hurts a lot. And I don't know what I'm going to do. But I just know it's probably not going to be this. Unless... not even unless... it would require something outlandish for me to stay. I'm really going to miss everybody. The community around the game. I started streaming like 2 years ago. A bit over 2 years ago. And the only reason I streamed, I always got messages like, you should stream your gameplay. We want to see you play. And I was, the whole thing was like, I never really cared about that. To me, I never really cared if people want, but I just like, fuck it, man. I was going to go for Deboreka necklace. And I'm like, man, I'll stream to see, just have people to talk to while I'm grinding for the Debo neck. I know I'm grinding for a long time. Obviously, I got lucky and one-shot it. And then I started hating streaming and I took a break. But then I was like thinking about it a lot. I came back and I started to really like it. I really, really like streaming just because I took a lot more chill approach and just being like, Mo, I'm just going to sit, vibe, talk about the game I'm playing, have fun with it, and be less about like, oh, today I'm going to do something sick. Today I'm going to just do some epic, awesome PvP content. It's like, I'm just going to chill, have fun, talk to people. And it really brought me to just love the community so much more. And I'm going to miss everyone. Like, all parts of the community are fun, from just the trash talk, the fun times, the sad times in the game. All of them, we all experienced it together. And from 2016 to now, it's been a hell of a ride. Yeah, boys. I don't really know how to end it, but yeah, man. I think that's it for me. Oh, I'm gonna show you guys one thing. Is the one sec. One thing I will have to remember. Oh my! Oh my god! I'm not done. Oh my god! I'm not done. How I didn't remember till right now. The fucking Solaire Invitational. Oh my god. Fuck it, man. We got during Solaire Invitational. We got our fucking jerseys, and it was such a fun time. There was some. It was absolutely scuffed. It was hilarious, but being able to actually fight and play with the EU guys, it was a hell of a time. I'm not gonna go too far into it, but I'm sure you've heard a bunch of the stories. It was scuffed, but it was a lot of fun meeting all the EU guys, having fun with just and having like a little PA tournament pushed with it, and it was awesome. And then the jersey and stuff, it's something I'll hold dear to that, just like my Smite jersey. It has a lot of meaning, and I love it. It's funny looking, it's goofy, and it's perfect. But yeah, I'm always gonna have that shit to remember. These memories will always be true in my heart, but unfortunately, it feels like the end of an era, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Anyways, fellas, I'll talk to you guys. I'll be streaming still, but I don't know what I'm gonna be doing. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. Might lean more into VR. Might lean more into some other game. Might try throwing Liberty with some show guys. I don't know, but the Azure Dragon. The Azure Dragon, I don't think it's going to be much more for much longer, in the BDO side at least. But yeah, fellas. That's it for me. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Oh.